And India today issued a sharp rebuttal to Canada, rejecting allegations of its High Commissioner being a person of interest in a murder investigation, describing these allegations as preposterous imputations. Remember, ties between India and Canada have been tense ever since Justin Trudeau alleged India's involvement in the killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar, a Canadian Khalistani terrorist, in June 2023. Well, let's go across to Vishnu now for more. And Vishnu, take us through what Canada said and India's very strong reaction to that.
Well, straight up off the top, Gargi, I can tell you that this sort of language used by India in an official press release when directed against any other country is rare. We've seen references of this strength against Pakistan in the past, which is a terrorist state, but against Canada, which has been a friendly a friendly partner in the past. It's almost unthinkable. I think it's safe to say that India-Canada relations at this juncture remain utterly shattered. Now, in their statement, which has now been released, New Delhi says, "We've received a diplomatic communication from Canada yesterday suggesting that the Indian High Commissioner and other diplomats are persons of interest in a matter related to an investigation with that country." Now, New Delhi has categorically rejected these assertions, calling them absolutely preposterous imputations which are ascribed to the political agenda of the Trudeau government that is centered around vote bank politics. New Delhi doesn't ever sort of get into the internal politics of any country, but in this particular case, they have said quite categorically that Trudeau's hostility to India, which goes back to approximately 2018, is associated with his idea, with his politics, with how efforts have been made by his cabinet, which has included individuals who have openly associated with an extremist and separatist agenda regarding India. But Trudeau has been accused by New Delhi of playing to vote bank politics, under criticism for turning a blind eye to foreign interference in Canadian politics. His government has deliberately brought in India in an attempt to mitigate damage. The latest development targeting Indian diplomats is now the next step in that direction. The government of India pointing out that Ambassador Sanjay Kumar Verma is India's senior most serving diplomat. He's a diplomat with 36 odd years of experience. For him to have been named in this as a person of interest is ludicrous as far as New Delhi is concerned. I think the last statement in this very strong diplomatic statement by New Delhi sort of summarizes where India and Canada now are right now. India now reserves the right to take further steps in response to these latest efforts of the Canadian government to concoct allegations against Indian diplomats. Now, what are potential next steps that New Delhi can take? Is this leading to a situation where India asks the Canadian High Commissioner to leave our country? That would mean perhaps it's the ultimate sort of fall in the relationship between the two countries. Two strong democracies at one level, but it is on the verge of a situation like that, is my personal sense after reading, what this statement has had to say.
That's right, Vishnu. And India has always maintained that there's been not a shred of evidence that has been given to us, despite all these allegations that have been on since 2023. And
they say as much in this particular release. It's a very long release, and in that somewhere over here, I can't find it right now, they make the point that not a shred of evidence has been submitted by Canada to India, number one. Number two, a lot of the people who are now Canadian citizens, who've been granted Canadian citizens, are those who India has wanted extradited on grounds of terrorism for a very long period of time. That has been ignored by the government of Canada. Now, the entire issue of Sikh extremism on Canadian soil has been going on now for several decades. It's been there, from the late 80s, early 90s, throughout the 90s. It's been a matter of great concern. Now, at this stage, New Delhi says it is completely unacceptable for Canada to justify terrorist elements, those who have in fact openly threatened the Indian diplomatic corps in Ottawa and other parts of Canada as well, including the High Commissioner, under the garb of freedom of speech.
All right, Vishnu, thanks so much for joining us with all those details. Well, to talk more about this latest, this reaction, this very, very strong reaction from India to Canada's allegations, we're joined now by Yogesh Gupta, former diplomat. Thank you so much, Ambassador Gupta, for joining us. And your first comments on the fact, on this reaction that India has sent, this very strongly, worded reaction, language that we've not used with Canada so far.
No, you're right, Gargi, absolutely. I think we are very careful in the MEA and in using the language in these note verbals, and I haven't seen this sort of a language earlier, such a strong language. And we had frankly started hoping that after these, the secretary level talks between the secretaries of the two countries, India and Canada, that both countries were trying to find a way out of this impasse. But now it appears that Prime Minister Trudeau is determined to use this Sikh extremist issue for domestic political purposes. And now that he is required to depose before this Commission on Foreign Interference, and Canada is preparing for the elections, prime ministerial elections next year, he has again started using the Sikh extremist issue and to derive political mileage. And our concern is that we have not been given any evidence so far by Canada, any evidence at all. And in the absence of this evidence, Canada has gone at great lengths to impute motives to our High Commissioner, to our diplomats in Canada, to the Government of India, and so on. That is its track record on one side. On the other side, Sikh extremists have been openly threatening our political leaders, our diplomats, and so on. They are not allowing our High Commission personnel to do their work properly. They have been glorifying the killers of former Prime Minister Mrs. Indira Gandhi and so on. And we have sent a number of times details of these Sikh extremists, who are wanted in these various investigations. And Canada has never extradited these persons. It has a track record of not complying with our request. So the relationship between the two countries on this score is unfortunately getting from bad to worse. And until this fellow Trudeau is there, one doesn't see much hope of any improvement. And one only hopes that next year when the elections take place, there is someone else with whom, we can start working together, because Canada is an important country. We have a big Indian community there. We would like to have good relations with Canada, so much the two countries can do together. But unfortunately, Mr. Trudeau and earlier his father, They have this tendency, to use
definitely.
the same...
And sir, as you were saying, we have our own concerns regarding this encouraging of the separatists and extremism on its soil, and that is very detrimental to India. So we already have those concerns about Canada, and here they go and accuse our diplomats. Do you see this escalating any further, like Vishnu suggested, that possibly ambassadors being called back? Do you see any further escalation, or right now, in your mind, do you think we'll just wait and see how Canada responds?
Well, I guess Canada would take note of the strong reaction from New Delhi to what it has imputed thus far. And I'm sure Canada would have no doubt that in case they take any further action, then India will reciprocate, and reciprocate very strongly and very firmly. So I hope that Canada will not go any further than this point, and will stop here, and will really come up with will give us some evidence in case they have any, of involvement of our people. And then, some inquiry can be conducted, some investigation can be made. But without any evidence, there's not much that India can do about it.